Ryan DeMatti for the Aces. Looks like it's gonna be Lawrence Curry and Jess Kresman on the floor for the Brigade on your screen in the blue. Opening up with that set of 8 cleans on that barbell. DeMatti and Curry pass it off to the female counterparts, Medeiros and Kresman.
Kresman going a little bit slower on those cleans. Medeiros just an extra second or so ahead, which is going to give the Aces a little edge as they head to the end of quadrant number 1. Now,
Curry and DeMatti making easy work right here.
Yeah, we're talking about those dumbbells. For these dumbbells, 30 pounds for the men in quadrant number 1, 20 pounds in quadrant number 2, going up by 10 pounds in each of the next 2 quadrants. But the rep scheme will go down. 8 reps in quadrant 1. Now we are looking at both teams in quadrant number 2, chipping away at 6 cleans. That barbell, 185 pounds for the men and 125 for the ladies.
Kresman and Medeiros again going rep for rep here.
As we mentioned before, both teams have the same players pretty much through quadrants 1 and 2. Usually you'll find that both teams tend to substitute heading into quadrants 3 and 4 for some stronger players or ones that are less fatigued from banging through those first 14 reps of each.
It's looking like DeMatti and Medeiros are going to come off the floor, onto the floor. It's going to be Alex Hollings, head coach, owner, and player Taylor Stallings.
And just like we talked about, both teams doing those substitutions. Aces a little bit ahead of the Brigade. Stallings now on her barbell. We're looking right now at the Brigade. That was Medina that was chipping away. Let's take a look over at the Aces. There they are, chipping away in quadrant number 3. Those are just 4 dumbbell thrusters, 40 pounds for the ladies, 50 in each hand for the men. And now on the right side of your screen, 2 cleans at 265 pounds and 165 for Taylor Stallings right there. They have 2 reps remaining of each of their thrusters, and they will be done with this race.
Taylor Stallings, final 2 repetitions in this race. Partner forward belongs to the Orlando Aces. 30 seconds on the clock for Erin Medina and Marissa Oxenford. Excuse me, Sophia Davenport, number 83. Final 2 reps for the Brigade. Davenport locks it out, drops the dumbbells, crosses the finish line with 17 seconds to spare.
Plenty of time left, so as we know, 2 points will be going, well, if you're just joining us, let's go ahead and recap that. 2 points go to the winning team of each race. 1 point will go to any team that finishes under the cap. There are a few other instances where that will change. We'll talk about that as we get into those particular races.
Absolutely, and early on, 1 race through, the Aces lead the Brigade 2-1. We'll be right back after this player feature on Brigade utility star Sydney Witter.
My name is Sydney Witter, and I am a part of the Tampa Bay Brigade, out of Tampa, obviously. I grew up swimming, and running was probably like the biggest sport that I did. As a family, we were very active. We went camping a lot during the summers. We mountain biked as a family. We just constantly were trying to do things outside all the time. That I think allowed me to continue my growth in being competitive and working out and being fit as I got older. My brother was always better than me in sports growing up, 1 year younger than me, so we've always been really close. About 1 year into swimming, my brother actually also joined swimming, and he ended up being a lot better than me, and it always bothered me a lot growing up. I was never the fittest one. I've always been kind of just in that average range. I've never been the worst, I've never been the best, just kind of settled right in the middle. So that was a little frustrating, but believe it or not, I don't really consider myself a competitive person. I love working out with people, and I love when people push me, but I don't feel like everything is competitive. It's more of I get to do this, and it's for fun, and I'm having a great time, and as long as I'm happy, that's all that matters. In 2018, Jess Kresman was on a Wodapalooza team with me. We found her through the grapevine of people. At the time, I was living in Michigan. She was awesome. She was great, crazy self. We talked about grit a lot. She was telling me how she loved me to be on the grit team. When I had the opportunity presented to me to come to Florida for chiropractic school, Jess messaged me and was like, hey, now that you're in Florida, you know, what do you think about grid, blah, blah, blah. So from there, I joined the team, and so far it's been nothing but benefit. It was kind of zoning in on, okay, what are you good at? But what are you really good at? And that made me feel even better about myself. You know, every team has the opportunity to put a guy or a girl out there. It's just what they decide and who they decide to put out there. Usually you don't see that. It's usually a girl and a girl going at the same time, or a guy and a guy going at the same time. It makes it really fun in my opinion, especially because growing up, having a younger brother who was only just a little bit younger than me, constantly competing against things, I didn't always get to beat him at everything. So Grid has given me that opportunity to go against guys again and beat them and things. That part is really, really cool, and I look forward to that every year.
What a feature for Sydney Witter, and I would gather to bet that we're going to see Witter in this upcoming race. It's called the Mirror. Joe, what do we got?
Well, coming up in the mirror, there's a required number of repetitions for both genders to complete in each quadrant. Now, both genders must finish their sets before anyone on the team moves to the next quadrant. When we talk about what these teams are doing today, 40 front squats. For the ladies, that barbell is 145 pounds. For the men, 255 pounds. Once that barbell leaves the ground in quadrant number 1, it cannot touch the ground until they have completed the 40th rep in quadrant number 4. So essentially, you will find these teams using their players as human racks, carrying that weight from quadrants 1, 2, 3, and ultimately into 4 to finish things up.
And the strength specialist sign in this one. You're gonna have your utility players play a factor, but it's the opening 2 players, the opening male and female. You know, we saw it in the last race where, you know, Griffin Raleigh and Amanda Fisher started in quadrant number 1 for the Wild, finished in quadrant number 4, right? No one had to switch. I think we're gonna see that now. I'll say that for the Aces, we might see that. Curious to see what we're gonna see, what kind of strategy we're gonna see from the Brigade in just about 15 seconds here.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, once it's a little easier to pass the barbell in this front rack position. There have been hang cleans in the past where they tend to fumble because they got to pass the bar at hip height. So this should be pretty smooth. We've seen 0 teams drop the barbell today.
Yes, sir. Opening up, Sydney Wilson making her Grid League debut in the Northern Conference alongside Ricky Morgan. On the side of the Aces, it's Alex Hollings and Megan Medeiros. Once again, 255 pounds for the men, 145 for the ladies, and Brigade through the first 10 reps. Matt Cable, Sydney Witter, who you just saw prior to this race, on the race floor.
Teams trying to make substitutions while their players are working on the front squats. They have to have people back there right away so they can get that bar off of their players' shoulders and get moving on to the next quadrant. Right now, Tampa Bay Brigade on the far side of quadrant number 3, already 2 reps into the last, or their 10 reps of this quadrant.
Absolutely. Again, Jess Chrisman right now, along with Lawrence Curry on the floor for the Tampa Bay Brigade. On the Aces side, you have Ryan DeMatti alongside, I believe that was Trisha Davis. And to close it out, it's going to be Alex Hollings, who you saw originally, and Taylor Stallings.
Hands are up for the referee in quadrant number 4 for the Brigade. There's only about 3 reps separating these teams.
Davenport's done,
Teams
Medina's
are done. Yep. And the Brigade are celebrating, taking that mirror. Still about 30 seconds left for the Aces to wrap up. Now, the barbell has hit the ground for the Aces. So, as we talked about, we haven't seen this today, but the whole team must go to the start line, head back to the finish, and now complete their 10 reps in the next 20 seconds. And my apologies, they did not need to do all 10 reps again. They had to pick up where they left off from when the barbell hit the ground. There was only 1 rep or 2 reps on the male side. The women were completed, and that was the confusion, I think, that caused that.
Not very often that we see a team actually finishing this race after dropping the barbell. Taylor Stallings had her team move into the start line, that 4-point touch, and then back over to the barbell. Alex Hollings, I think he just felt that he could finish all 10 reps. He did the first 10 to start off the mirror, and it just wasn't enough. And ended up dropping the barbell. Could have cost him a point. It's all tied up going into the first ringer point race of the match. Before we do that, Cassie standing by with the winning team and Jess Chrisman. Cassie, how is Jess feeling after that race win?
Alrighty, I'm here with Jess Kresman of the Tampa Bay Brigade. Jess, as a coach and as a player of the team, what's going through your mind right now?
We're just trying to stay consistent. No matter what happens in the race before, we just start over. We come back just like we did on Mirror. We know we're going to go back and forth all day with these guys, so we just have to run our race, stay in our lane, and not make mistakes.
Awesome, I love it. When going into the programming of this mirror race, was it kind of like a strategic to what you knew what the aces were going to do, or was it kind of like, okay, these are our strongest people and we know the aces are going to bring it and this is what we have?
Yeah, I mean, we have really good squatters on our team, and we know we can squat fast. We can't really worry about what they're going to do because no matter what they do, we just have to go as fast as we can, not make mistakes, not drop the bar, and just stay focused because it's so fast, milliseconds matter. So.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Jess, and good luck on the rest of your race. Back to the table.
Thank you, Cassie. Thank you, Jess. Again, Jess has been on the grid floor since the inception. She's been a Brigader for life so far, and every single year she just brings it. The Brigade bring it. They used to be the team to beat. They used to be the team to beat in the grid. That's changed over the last few years. They're trying to get back to that. Head coach Chris Garand has been the head coach since the inception, and he has made a pick in this first ringer point race, and it's going to be the med ball handstand walk. Stay on your feet, but walk us through what this race consists of.
All right. Body weight movement, med ball handstand walk. It's 10 pounds between the legs of a man, 6 for the ladies. They are going the entire length of the grid, 80 feet, start to finish with that ball between their legs. Here we go.
Chris Siofi and Christian Alvarez Diaz. The Grid League rookie drops the ball from his inception.
And Chaffee is off. He is already in quadrant number 3. He was a little nervous. I spoke to him before the match. He said, unfortunately, I have to do this, but it looks like it's not going to be an issue for him. He has just crossed the finish line. Chris Chaffee has absolutely obliterated that handstand walk. And now, it's not really going to matter at this point, and we talked about this before, for the aces to finish. In order for them to receive 1 point, they need to finish within 20% of the time. And I have to say, Chaffee did that so fast that I would think he only had 5 or 6 seconds to get in there.
Yeah, it's not going to come down to this again. His debut, Alvarez Diaz's debut, he's got to be feeling the pressure right now. His team is down there, bringing him back up. I can't wait to see what else he has to bring. As you know, we're going to have some bodyweight specialized races coming soon, so excited to see him there. But a big win for Chaffee and the Brigade, as they're going to go up, because you get no points on that one for the aces. They're going to go up 4-2 going into the next race. We'll be right back with some more action live from Valor Fitness headquarters.
My name is Courtney Moss. I play for the Tampa Bay Brigade, and I am a strength specialist on the team. I was born in Montgomery, Alabama. Fun fact about Montgomery, Alabama, it is the home of the Air Force, so I was actually born on Maxwell Air Force Base. Fun fact. I attended Alabama Christian Academy in Montgomery, Alabama, and I played both football and baseball. I decided to join the Army after all of my mentors growing up through sports from 5 until 21. All of them influenced me in so many ways, and just being that person to be service, to give service back to the community, service back to the world, service back to everyone. So I decided to join the military because I wanted to give that service back to the world. The biggest lesson I learned in the service that I would love to share with everyone is we are meant to do challenging things. Things may seem insurmountable, but we have the grit inside of us to get them all done. Fitness has helped me so much in character building. There's days that become challenging. There's days that are just mentally grinding, and being able to overcome surpass all those other things that you have to normally go through throughout the day. Incorporating fitness, it's so much character building, so it's built my character so much. Advice I would give to people that are on a similar path or on that fence line, try it, give it a try, see what happens. Shoot for the stars, land on the moon. Special shout out always goes to my mom. She's been the rock of my life. Anything I've ever done, athletic-wise and sport-wise, it's been motivation and inspiration through her, and that's who I am today because of her.
Welcoming you back to the action, Alan Duarte alongside Joe Roberto. Joe, 4 matches all throughout the day. Match number 4 on the clock. As we've seen a back and forth battle, as Jess Chrisman spoke with Cassie earlier and said it's going to be a back and forth battle. She knows it. We know it. We're excited to see it. And it continues next with a set of races. Aces look ready for redemption. Excited to see what Alvarez Diaz can do to redeem himself from that previous performance. What do we got next?
We have the Echoes coming up. Now, for this Echo, this will be races 3 and 4. Now, players can substitute at any time. Now, the reason they call it the Echo, race 4 begins exactly 45 seconds after race 3 finishes. Now, teams perform the same exact race in those 45 seconds. Each race is counted separately, so there are 2 total races. And the male and female do share a barbell, but they do variations of the movements. So today, what we're talking about, 30 thrusters for men if they choose to do all of the repetitions in quadrant number 1. Otherwise, if a lady is to jump on that same barbell, it is front squats. Barbell weighs 155 regardless of who touches it. From there, quadrant number 2, weighted pull-ups with a 14-pound med ball. 20 repetitions. Moving on from there in quadrant number 3, 15 ring muscle ups, and finishing things off with 15 flip sleds, and that sled is 300 pounds.
15 seconds on the clock. They are lined up and ready to go. Lawrence Curry lining up with Sydney Wilson for the Brigade. Looking like Stallings and Archangel Andrade for the Aces. They are off. Aces on your screen. Andrade opening up with the thrusters. Lawrence Curry opening up with the thrusters for both these teams. Brigade in blue, Aces in the black. A 5-3 early lead for the Tampa Bay Brigade after that 0 for the Aces in the first ringer point race.
Curry's turning around just a little bit quicker.
Hands it off to Wilson as she's on her front squats. Here comes Taylor Stallings and the rookie, Alvarez Diaz. He's made his debut here in the Northern Conference, looking to make up for his fault in that ringer point race. I'm excited to see what he has to show.
He's got himself in a dead hang already. And if we go over to the Aces, he has already begun his kipping pull-ups with that med ball between his legs. One of the Brigade just went down on your screen. You may have seen her come down. She's okay. She's going to get back up, load that med ball, and try to continue with her pull-ups.
Again, it's not the pull-up that's difficult with this. You're worried about doing the pull-up, getting the chin over the bar, and holding that 14-pound medicine ball in between your legs at the same time. And we've seen it all day long. It has come down to the muscle-ups. Looks like it's coming down to the pull-ups for the Brigade as the Aces are just chipping away. Medeiros looks strong on the rings.
And it looks like the Brigade are just going to get held up. They still have 2 reps on the pull-ups. The muscle-ups are already being chipped away. The hand is up on the far side. There he is for the Aces. Referee's got his hand. They got 3 reps remaining on those muscle-ups. Then they will finish things with that flipper. 300 pounds and 15 back-and-forth flips.
There's Angel Serrano finishing it up. Trisha Davis, former Rookie of the Year, onto the flip sled. Here comes Alex Hollings to help her out. Looking to make up for his fault on the squats from earlier in that mirror.
Yeah, and he's moving that weight. Trisha also very good, very efficient when it comes to getting that 300-pound sled over.
Here comes the machine, Matt Cable for the Brigade. What's great to see, though, is you've seen a few players have some costly faults for the Aces. However, you see Taylor Stallings and that entire team get back behind her players, her teammates, and get them back, their heads back into this match. And it's showing here with Alex Hollings and Trisha Davis, while Matt Cable looks to chip away with Sydney Witter. Cable, just a maniac on this flip sled.
And just one rep remaining for the Aces. One flip for Trisha Davis, and she'll backstep into that finish. The Aces are going to take the first part of that echo. 3 reps remaining for the Brigade and about 30 seconds on the clock.
Final rep for Cable and the Brigade. 20 seconds on the clock. He is good to go, and he'll cross that finish line. I remember the first time I saw Trisha Davis ever on the Grid League. They picked a ringer point race. It was the flip sled. The Aces did not pick it. But Taylor Stallings picked Trisha Davis to go up there and flip the sled against a male counterpart on the other side, and she absolutely obliterated the flip sled. We saw it there again in quadrant number 4. We're going to see it one more time as we rerun these echoes. Anything you might want to see change on the Brigade side?
I think they were having mostly just issues with the pull-ups. I don't think they would have been as far behind because it was only a few reps, a few seconds as we got towards the end. So they were able to catch up, which means ultimately they might be faster than the Aces out there if they can get through those med ball pull-ups before the Aces.
Can we expect Cable to do the same thing he just did? I think Witter did 3. She might have done 3 flips, maybe 4 out of the total of 15. So is Cable able to recover enough time? It is the last element in this race. Is he able to recover to repeat that? Or do they have another man that can replicate that?
We are about to find out.
We're off, starting with 2 different males. Medina for the Brigade, and it's going to be DeMatti for the Aces. I'm interested in finding out why the coaches believe that they think starting with the thrusters is the best strategy. I think that the range of motion of just front squats might be faster.
It is, but I guess it doesn't. It's all relative. It's 30 reps no matter what. So you can have the ladies go first and they can do their 15 before the guys or however many they're going to do.
Yeah.
But no matter what, most teams end up splitting it between the males and the females.
Yes. I guess one thing I think about as well is, at least for the Aces, they want Alvarez Diaz on the way to pull-ups. So it makes sense to go male, female, and then get Alvarez on the Valor Fitness rig. I guess it worked out here as well for the Brigade if they wanted a female. This time it's going to be Oxenford instead of Davenport. Jofi onto the rings.
There you go, and you can see the Brigade and the Aces, on your screen, both sides, chipping away. Brigade not having any issues this time with those pull-ups. 2 reps remaining.
Yep, Medeiros and Serrano, the same 2 players that completed them, a lot faster on his way to pull-ups this time around.
And now we got Chaffee on the muscle-ups, and is that Medeiros across the screen for the Aces?
Yes, it is, yes.
All right, so Chaffee choosing to go with that butterfly that's a little more efficient. Medeiros not able to do that particular movement. She still has the kipping muscle-up, but now, the Brigade only have 3 reps remaining. The hand is not up for the referee, just went up now for the Aces.
And it's going to be the veteran himself. You saw him in Honor of Valor feature. It's going to be Courtney Moss, the Cowboy, for the Tampa Bay Brigade.
Wow, and he is just flipping that like there is 0 weight on it.
Looks like Wilson is going to be the one joining him there in quadrant number 4. Curry's fresh. This is his first action he's seen today. So Archangel Andrade on the floor right now for the Aces. Looking to see here, can Moss hold up the same amount of speed and intensity that we saw Cable?
Yeah, it seems so. He just now asked for a little relief, so if he can just get a quick breather, both teams have about a minute. Hand is up, 2 reps remaining, last rep for the Brigade. And the Brigade will take the second half of that echo. 5 reps remaining for the Aces. Seems as though they're going to be able to get under the cap. So this echo is essentially split between these two teams. We haven't seen that yet today.
Courtney Moss, what a showing on his debut on today's match. 30 seconds to go for the Ace players. Trisha Davis is done. She's gonna cross that finish line and they're gonna cross it. So they get in underneath that time cap. We're gonna get those flip sleds out. Looks like we got something going on.
Yeah, I can tell you, I was trying to follow just a little bit. I think there's been through this season, and maybe in the past, the coaches are, there's a lot of passion, intensity, whatever we want to call it. They're just like a football game. They can't be on the field. They can't be on the grid while the match is going on. So I think there's just some conversation about those things. We're gonna go over to a commercial, though. We'll come back. We'll talk about the ladder coming up next.
Grid Wars! Yeah, baby!
Excited. This is going to be fun. I like stuff like this. Being able to coach and get people into it and have them have the first grid experience, it's going to be a good time.
Nervous, excited, never done this.
Really nervous, but it's gonna be fun. Wish me luck.
Kill it.
1, 2, 3, Junior!
That was the spark we needed. It's electric in the air, baby.
Now we can do the mini grid.
Was amazing. The race was so funny.
All comes down to this, Mike. Let's go.
I think we're going to be all right. And once we win this one, we win the whole thing.
No, back away.
That's sportsmanship over here.
Fuck you! Pretty much gonna do the whole thing, and then I'm gonna run across and win. What'd you do? Come on. What happened? I'm just kidding, but I love you.
6 a.m. 6 a.m. Forever the best.
She beat me.
Champ. Champ. Champ.
Using your 9 essential amino acids can boost your performance, your energy, and build lean muscle mass and help you lean out at the same time. I feel completely like energized. My recovery, my workouts feels awesome. I don't feel like I'm really sore. I can immediately go into my workouts the next day. Feels great.
Touched her.
All right, party people, we are back.
Back and into the action after a difficult review, I would say, because it is a small piece of the puzzle that occurred on that race. However, it was determined after reviewing video that head coach Chris Garand did make contact with Sydney Wilson. So after last grid weekend in Orlando, there is a new rule that came out that a player cannot be touched or guided by a coach at any moment.
Right.
So should that happen, should there be contact with a player and a coach, it will result in a match loss. There is no rerun.
Race loss.
Race loss, excuse me.
Correct.
Race loss.
Right.
There is no rerun. Race is going to go to the aces.
Yep.
And we're going to move forward, and we're going to get into our next race.
Cassie, I don't know if you guys have seen our latest YouTube video about the recap from our Orlando matches, but we have come up with a new clause to save us a little bit of time here on the grid that states that if a coach touches a player, regardless of if it affects the outcome of the race, they will get no points for that race. So it looks like Coach Chris from the Brigade did make contact with his player, and unfortunately that win will be taken away from them. Back to you guys.
So a costly mistake by head coach Chris Garand. What was a 5-3 lead and would have been a 7-4 lead is now a 5-5 tie, as the Aces will get their 2 points for that race win. Brigade will get 0 for a touch of a player.
Hey, but this is crucial in the growth of this sport, right? We can't have gray areas. It's like a football game. Coach can't come out on the field. I don't remember how many years ago when the coach stuck his foot out and tripped one of the players.
Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers. I remember.
So, there's rules for a reason. There's a reason there's a line on the grid. There's an outside line. There's the players are on the grid. The coaches are on the outside. So,
yeah, absolutely. We got our head referee announcing it right now.
So he's essentially recapping what you and Cassie went over. Cannot reach inside, regardless of the outcome that it causes. Even if it didn't change the outcome of the race ultimately will go to the other team. Aces get 2 points. Brigade gets 0. And that's it. We're moving on.
We're going back and forth. As Chrisman said earlier, as we said earlier, we're going to get the floor set up for our strength ladder coming up. But, we expected drama. Did you expect this kind of drama so far in this race?
For the day, it's been relatively smooth. Not a ton of drama, a lot of ups and downs for teams, but ultimately everybody seems pretty well behaved, keeping it cool. So,
but and like you said again, we don't want gray areas. Rules cut and dry. Can't make contact with players as a coach. You do it, it's a loss, and I'm proud of the Grid League for upholding that.
And enforcing, right, because now you're going to see it less and less. There's going to be meetings about this. The teams are going to get together. If they got to switch who's coaching from the sideline and who's standing at the start line, so be it, whatever. If you can't control your passion, then
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. It's a team sport, and that goes from the coaches all the way down to the players.
Absolutely. As we get a score update, it's going to be Brigade 7, Aces 6. So we're a little behind over here, live and in person. Brigade 7, Aces 6. That's going to be the score going into the ladder, and it's another opportunity. We saw them in the mirror, and we're going to see them now. The strength specialist for both of these teams, maybe even some utility players. We saw Cody Schaefer earlier for the Palms, a bodyweight specialist, clean the 275-pound barbell. He was hyped as can be. So I'm excited to see who we don't expect to maybe clear the floor does do that and surprises some of us here at Valor Fitness headquarters. Again, it's been an exciting day. If you missed a little recap, Fort Lauderdale Lions are moving forward to the Southern Conference playoffs. They will take on the South Beach Palms. And earlier we had the Gainesville Wild fall to the Southwest Florida Sharks in a close 1-point victory for the Sharks. An exciting matchup there, but I have a feeling this one's going to go down to the wire. We haven't had a race yet today that has gone into the sprint relay, and the sprint relay actually meaning something besides points differential. I have a feeling that this has the opportunity to do that.
Absolutely, and both teams still holding on to their bonus flags. If you're just joining us or this is your first time catching Grid, that bonus flag will give 1 additional point to whatever team wins that respective race when the flag is thrown. Right now, they look like they got the Grid loaded with the ladder. We are going to go over that in just a moment, tell you a little about what's going to happen in this strength ladder. So, talk about the barbells are laid out like the rungs of a ladder, all right? Each one is heavier than the last. There is a male line and a female line. Now, there's a maximum of 10 points per player. Teams can accumulate as many points as possible through successful lifts. Now, the weight and point value increase as you move down the grid, just like you see here on your screen. Point value is equal to the quadrant number. 1 lift attempt per bar. If you fail that bar, you are done and must remove yourself from the grid. Now, there's a 4-minute time cap for these teams, so that comes with a little bit of strategy when it comes to which bars they should be attempting to lift. Taking a look, go ahead.
Speaking of the bars,
yes,
we got some heavyweight on there. Let's run them down.
Heavyweight is right. Clean ladder. We're looking at, for the men, quadrant number 1, 250-pound bar, up to 275, 300 in quadrant number 3, and finishing at 325 pounds. For the ladies, quadrant number 1, 165 pounds, 180 in quadrant 2, 195 pounds, and then capping things off at 210 pounds. Now, the element values 1, 2, 3, and 4 are with their respective quadrants. So if a player hits quadrant 1 and quadrant 2, 3, and 4, then they essentially will walk away with 10 points towards their element value score, overall player rating.
So about 30 seconds on the clock. The referees are making their way down as we're getting ready to start. And as I go through this lineup right here of, Matt Cable, Courtney Moss, Ricky Morgan, and whoever else decides, possibly Aaron Medina, whoever else decides to come on this floor for the Brigade, I see 4 males in the Brigade that can clear this ladder.
Yeah, for the Aces, I know that we can probably get Archangel Andrada across.
Hollings, I think, can get across.
David Blatt is actually pretty strong. I don't know that 325 would be doable, but we're going to find out here in just a moment. Number 12 for Rick Morgan for the Brigade. He's out in quadrant 2. No problem with that second barbell.
And if there's anyone that's going to clear this ladder, it's going to be Ricky Morgan, and it's going to be Taylor Stallings. Taylor Stallings, 210, power clean with ease.
Complete ease.
Alex Hollings on the floor. Now for the Aces, someone else who I think can clear this ladder. Here comes Sydney Witter.
And Rick Morgan did complete the ladder as well, putting up our 4 barbells.
We saw Witter earlier. Believe she's designated as a utility player, but she is one of the stronger females on that Brigade squad. Witter on your screen right now, 210 pounds. pounds for Sydney Witter. Can't quite get underneath it. She got it high enough.
Yeah, she got it up to
I
her.
think power clean was in her mind.
She
Not
just
squat
needed to get
clean.
under that thing. Trisha Davis now on your screen. She just got quadrant number 3 without issue. Now 210 pounds. She is able to stand that up. Matt Cable on your screen now in quadrant number 4 with that 325-pound bar.
Sydney Wilson on the floor for the Brigade. DeMatti on the floor for the Aces. Ryan through that 300-pound barbell. Here comes Wilson. Ryan DeMatti for the Orlando Aces, 325.
All right, and now we are looking at
Lawrence Moss. Lawrence Moss on the floor for the Brigade. And it looks like it's going to be Olivia Scott, number 6 for the Aces.
Curry, quadrant 3. He's under. He's got it up. He's going to head to quadrant number 4.
He doesn't look it, but Lawrence Curry is fast, strong, but fast underneath that barbell. Can't quite get underneath 325. Archangel Andrade, someone you expect to clear it. Can he do it?
I think so. And yeah, going back to Curry, very strong, just technically a little off. But we'll expect to see more out of him through the season. Andrade got that up in number 3. Kresmian did get her bar in quadrant number 3. And Andrade drops his. No good on quadrant 4, but he is able to clear quadrants 1 through 3.
90 seconds remaining. Medina on your screen for the Brigade. Megan Medeiros on the floor for the Aces. Aaron Medina. Easy power clean at 300 pounds. 325 for Aaron Medina. 210 for Medeiros. You see Medeiros in the back, can't quite get it. Medina power cleans 325.
Wow.
Angel Serrano for the Orlando Aces. Oxenford waiting in the ranks, but first it's going to be Davenport.
Davenport, she's able to put up that bar for the ladies in quadrant number 3.
Angel Serrano, 325. Can he get underneath it? Angel Serrano, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Grid League. The Cowboy, Courtney Moss.
Throwing those bars around. Easily able to put it up. This is Megan Medeiros on your screen. Quadrant number 3, 195 pounds. She stands it up. Courtney Moss drops that bar, 325. Now we'll go back to Medeiros. She is on a 4th quadrant, 210-pound barbell. We got about 10 seconds left. And she's going to get that one. Also, quadrant number 2 is good for the Brigade, and that is going to complete your strength ladder for these teams. Now, it's going to take a little time for us to tabulate the scores. When we come back, we're going to tell you how they've been doing. Actually, we're going to stay with you guys.
Yeah, a little ahead of yourself. It's okay. Listen. We want to skip through the commercials. We want to keep going the action, but we got a few messages from Relax and Get Results, Peachy and Rebuilt. We'll be right back, and I promise you, Joe's got a surprise for you.
We are Relax and Get Results. Josh and Daniel here. We've been with the Grid League since about 5 years now, and we love being part of the team, taking care of the team. Their well-being means a lot to us, so we're always in the sideline, making sure they're okay. You know, we specialize in everything that has to do with sports, massage, sports recovery, stretching. So what we do is basically help them maximize their potential and help them prevent injury as well.
The recovery aspect, we speed up the recovery time, help athletes regain range of motion that they've lost due to injury or overuse, overtraining. Pretty much just keeping people as healthy as possible is what our goal is.
Yeah, especially with Greet, you know, it's very intense and it's very fast. So when we improve their mobility, their flexibility, they're obviously going to perform at a higher level. So with them, that's mainly our main concern, is to get them flexible so they're faster at everything they do.
Peachy Athletic Shorts guys. Just saying. Looking peachy.
And the peaches are great. They're really stretchy. They're soft.
I like the fit. I like the fabric. It makes me just feel more comfortable while I'm working out. I don't have to worry about things coming out.
Love training in these shorts. Love competing in the shorts. They stay put. Got a really nice thick waistband.
They definitely pass the squat test and the booty test. They're really comfortable. Like I could wear them out and I could wear them on the floor.
But still feel covered, but able to do all the movements.
Go get yourself some.
I'm a marketing specialist and also a fitness enthusiast, so I kind of do a little bit of everything. A little bit of gymnastics, a little bit of lifting, but I'm also a person who gets really bored with eating the same things. I like that Rebuilt has made it a lot easier for me to meal prep because it takes out a bunch of meals that I don't need to now prep. When I'm at work, I can just heat them up really quickly, or if I'm working from home, I can heat them up really quickly. And it just makes the time when I do get home after work or after the gym a lot simpler because I have those meals ready to go. I track most of my macros. You can scan them super easily, put them in MyFitnessPal. It's easy for me then to plan the rest of my meals with the rest of the macros that I have left for the day because it tallies it up super simple for me. Super clean food while also tasting really good. I feel like I'm getting a good healthy amount of protein, carbs, and fat per meal. I like the lifestyle line. It allows me to have a little bit more flavor, a little bit more carbs. I feel good going into training. I'm ready to go. It makes my life super simple and I really like them.
Welcome back to the action, ladies and gentlemen. I promised you a surprise, and Joe's got that surprise because we have our scores for the ladder already back to us. Joe, who took the ladder?
The Aces absolutely dominated, taking that ladder 82-66, covering that 10-point differential. So they'll receive 2 points for the ladder, 0 once again going to the Brigade. Now currently leaving our score unofficially 8-7 Aces over Brigade.
Absolutely. So 2-point lead going into the ringer point race. We got 1 minute. We haven't started yet. Walk us through this ringer point race. It looks like it's going to be Trisha Davis and possibly Dalton Herrero. We'll wait and see which Brigade guy is it. Do you have?
Well, when I got with the teams earlier, sorry to interrupt, yeah, we do have Trisha Davis coming out for the Aces, and I was told Courtney Moss will be coming out. Now, for this ringer, we've got the utility work, multi-element race. This is tall box jump overs. And when I mean tall, I mean it. This is 16 repetitions, 36-inch box for men, 30 inches for the ladies, and then 8 thrusters. For the men, you have a 185-pound barbell. For the ladies, 125 pounds.
So it looks like you're right. It's going to be Courtney Moss. He's lined up for this ringer point race against Trisha Davis, who I mentioned earlier, my first exposure to Trisha Davis was about 2 years ago in Orlando. Ringer point race, back against the wall. No one thought she could win it, and she absolutely dominated. So I'm excited to see what she can do here. It's one of the few ringer point races that we have with not one, but 2 elements on it. We saw the handstand walk earlier, just 1 element straight across the grid floor. Here, 2 elements partnered together.
Yeah, but we've seen that a lot today. Mostly single element races as far as the ringer points. So this will add a little bit more depth to the ringer point, a little bit more time, but usually these are very fast.
And this has to be the longest one. I mean, 16 reps on the box jump overs on top of 8 thrusters with not a light barbell for most. I believe it's light for Courtney and light for Trisha. But 185 pounds on the barbell 8 times, as well as 125 for the ladies. I'm excited to see what's to come with this race. Again, the opportunity for finishing 20% faster than your opponent could get the Brigade back into this match, as we're looking at an 8-6 score, I believe it is.
Okay, 8-6. I stand corrected on that. And it looks as though they were just double checking the measurements of the boxes, or they've changed their mind on who they're going to be sending out for the Brigade. I'm not quite sure just yet. They're discussing it right now.
It looks like it's still going to be Moss. He's up there, but I believe you were right. I think there was a miscommunication on the size of the box for Moss, so I think we're looking to get that out there.
125 pounds for Davis. Little,
they are off.
Little misstep from Moss. Little shaky on that 37-inch box. Davis moving just a little bit quicker with those reactive box jumps. There, we got it on your split screen. You can see both of the players from both teams trying to chip away at those 16 reps.
Now, how will it affect her breathing that much? I don't think so. But we got 5 reps to go. And Moss is down. Moss is hurt.
And Trisha Davis is going to finish up. She's got 1 rep remaining. We'll stay on her as she sprints through the finish for the Aces. Back over with the Brigade. The team is helping Moss off the ground. He had a little issue with his knee, it seems. It's bothering him on one of those jumps. So
again, I'm not a professional lip reader. I may have read I tore my Achilles in his lip, so I think that's what it might have been. I think it's an Achilles, as you know, he hit the ground and tried to go back up and just collapsed. So sad to see. Hopefully I'm wrong, and it might be an ankle sprain, something of that sort. But best wishes to Courtney Moss.
Absolutely.
And a quick recovery from whatever it is. It's tough to see. It's the first one we've seen today. When we've seen some hamstrings and some cramping going on, that's something serious. Hopefully it isn't as serious. But best wishes to Courtney Moss. The Aces, we're going to take that race. Brigade weren't able to finish, so it's going to be 2 points to the Aces, 0 points to the Brigade. It's going to be a 3-point lead as we get set and ready to go for Jack and Jill. We're going to take a quick break, quick message from our friends at Riverbend, and we'll be back with Jack and Jill.
I love Element Salt a lot.
Hardcore Element user.
Element's been awesome.
Element.
I've been using Element basically every day. I love it.
I was, back to working out and wanted to make sure that I stayed hydrated because that's so important for your supply.
It was a game changer for me because all through high school and college, I would always cramp. This generally comes from that mineral imbalance. Having Element T, in my training bag keeps me hydrated. It's phenomenal.
It rejuvenates me in the workout. It's what my body craves and it's what it needs after sweating so much. It's definitely helped me get through really long, tough workouts and just give me the energy that I need in order to keep pushing through.
We're back for the action. Unofficially, Aces 10, Brigade 7, 3-point lead for the team out of Orlando. We're going into this. We got our next race coming up. It's going to be Jack and Jill. Joe, walk us through what we can expect.
All right, Jack and Jill, race number 8. We have 3 stations of body weight elements. All right, 3 movements, all body weight based. The amount of reps decrease and the difficulty increases with each subsequent movement. Now, looking ahead at these movements. Jack and Jill, today we have rope climbs, 15 rope climbs in quadrant number 1. For quadrant number 2, 10 legless rope climbs, and then capping things off with 3 L-sit rope climbs. And once again, 1 male, 1 female out on the grid at a time. Substitutions can happen at any point. And that's that when it comes to Jack and Jill.
We've been waiting for it all match long. Tampa Bay has thrown their bonus flag. This race is going to be worth 3 points to the victor. Whoever takes the win takes the 3 points. 1 bonus flag per team per match. Tampa Bay has chosen to use it here on Jack and Jill, the bodyweight specific race. I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know if this would have been the race I would have thrown it on.
I mean, they must know something we don't when it comes to their body weight specialists. You know, I couldn't tell you, but
Chris Grant is confident.
Yeah.
He's looking confident. I mean, is it a reaction to the unfortunate injury of Courtney Moss where it's like, hey, we need something and we need it now, and this could be a turning point for this Brigade team. A bonus flag race win to bring what could possibly be a 3-point swing and a 1-point deficit, or the Ace. He might be harping on the Aces maybe not finishing, because we've seen it happen already where teams haven't finished this race and they'll get 0 points. So a momentum swing possibly waiting in the ranks for the Brigade. Opening up with 15 rope climbs. It's going to be Dalton Herrero starting for the Brigade. I'm looking to see, it looks like
David Blatt
for the Aces.
Yep. And we haven't seen Blatt out on the grid too much today.
This is where he shines, though.
So these guys racing to the top, chipping away now at 15 rope climbs. You can use your feet if you want. You'll notice that some of these more advanced rope climbers don't even bother because it's just a waste of time trying to locate that rope with your feet.
Dalton Herrera choosing to go 3 legless and probably what?
Well, there you go. Now, exactly what we were talking about. For the Aces, she was fighting there at the bottom of that rope, just trying to find a place for her feet instead of just continuing to head up that rope.
Which is the reason you see some of these teammates holding that rope at the bottom for them so they can get their feet hooked in. But the Brigade choosing to go legless this entire time. Darren Lasso on the floor right now for the Aces, holding it for Trisha Davis.
Yeah, and they're just pulling that slack, holding it tight, just giving that 1 extra second for them to wrap their feet, if it's necessary.
Dylan Steedman, first time we see him today, he just came off the rope. He's going to give it back to Lindsay Spock. Matt Cable right there. That was the final rep, I believe. 1 more rep to go. Or maybe I'm wrong. I hear Chris Grant saying 1 more rep.
I think he's telling her one more rep. Yep, because we haven't seen any hands go up. Both teams now, hands go up as we were talking about. 5 reps apiece. Right now, they are neck and neck. Matt Cable trying to help knock these out. They've got 3 reps remaining for the Brigade, 3 reps remaining for the Aces. So still very close.
Alvarez Diaz going up that rope. 2 to go for the Aces. Trisha Davis now onto the rope. There's Davenport for the Brigade.
You can see both teams on your screen right now. That was a fault for Trisha Davis. So,
I think the head judge stepped in and counted it.
Okay.
So it was going to count for Davis. They are done. Miscommunication there on their side. Here comes Dalton Herrera once again. Trisha Davis onto the legless.
Yeah, so you were correct. The referee did give, the head ref said it was good, but Trisha Davis didn't know that. She thought she had to go again.
David Blatt on the ropes now for the Aces on the right side of your screen. Here comes Sydney Witter. You saw her clear the floor on the ladder, and you see her climbing a rope legless.
Yeah, David Blatt doing the same thing.
Medeiros for the Aces, Steedman for the Brigade. Medeiros is moving hand for hand with Steedman.
Hand is up for the Brigade. Once again, bonus flag was tossed at the beginning of this race. So the Brigade are trying. They are now 1 rep ahead of the Aces.
Darren Lasso trying to get them back into this. Him and Witter touch at the same time. We got 3 reps to go for both. And who better but Dalton Herrera right now?
Dalton Herrera, they may ask him to just wrap this thing up. He's got 2 reps remaining. 2 more, he needs to finish. Some confusion, some communication errors. It is going to come down to these 3 L-sit rope climbs.
Angel Serrano, ladies and gentlemen, get the Aces in the lead. It's Medeiros and Alvarez Diaz.
Medeiros on her way up for rep number 1. Chaffee chasing her. They are neck and neck now. 1 rep for both teams. They're both coming down together. Hands are up. 2 reps remaining for both, for the Brigade and the Aces.
A costly mistake from Oxenford. Is it the final rep? Final rep for the Orlando Aces and Durant. Durant has to get up here. She has to touch with her foot. If not, this race is it.
She didn't do it just yet. She hasn't touched it yet. She can't.
And it's a fault.
She gets
it's
a
up
fault.
to Oxenford.
She did miss that. Oxenford reaches up. She gets it. And the Brigade are going to get that bonus point. They're going to take this race. Holy cow.
And it's crazy. You had Alvarez Diaz there, able to get up that rope in time with just about 15 seconds to spare. So they are going to get that 1 point. And right now it's going to be unofficially a 1 point lead for the Aces. What was a 3 point lead is now a 1 point lead. Huge risk, huge reward by head coach Chris Garand. And what a comeback from Chaffee and Oxenford on those L-sit rope climbs. Ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere. We said it's back and forth. We got 3 races to go, and I expect nothing less. We'll be back after this break.
You know who made it.
Big goal of mine is to share my story, to inspire others. Once I got back to the States, during hard chemotherapy rounds, I was back in remission, but now this time I needed to have a bone marrow transplant. After another round of chemotherapy, I then endured a fungal infection that was going to my brain. Very close call. Had 5 surgeries in 6 days. But I battled through, fought through, and survived. Made it to my bone marrow transplant. Took about 11 months for my blood to start reproducing again. You know, through that time, I still continued to train. I continued striving to just be the best I can be and do the best that my body could do. So I preach health and fitness because it saved my life, not once but twice. I will continue to tell my story on why I eat the way I eat. Every day, you know, I'm eating clean. Carnivore snacks, you know, it's just legit. Salt and your protein, and that's it. They all taste great. I look forward to snacking on them every day. Being a busy dad, I get to snack and not forget to eat while I'm taking care of my 14-month-old son. So carnivore snacks is great. I definitely highly recommend it.
Three races to go, Joe. We are in for a show. Ladies and gentlemen, you at home tuning in to the Grid League live stream, brought to you by Skyhill USA, are in for a treat. Tampa Bay Brigade, for years, since the inception of the FGL, have been one of the top teams. They were the inaugural champions. Now they have some competition, and some of that competition is right there next to them in the Orlando Aces. As we're going into this, just about 90 seconds, we're going to start off with the female triad. What can the fans at home expect from this triad that both the females and the males are going to take on?
Well, just like you said, we're going to start with the female triad. Race 9, race 10 will be males, but this is gender specific. Now, there's 5 movements. It's usually a mix of barbell and body weight movements. Each movement has 3 stations where a designated number of reps must be completed before players can start on the subsequent movement. Now, let's talk about those movements at each station. Starting with a barbell cluster, 16 repetitions at each of those 3 stations, 75-pound barbell. From there, 3 freestanding handstand push-ups, Quadrant number 3, 16 burpee box overs for the ladies. We have a 24-inch box, and then 9 dumbbell shoulder to overhead in quadrant number 4. From there, all 3 ladies will handstand walk 60 feet. That is from quadrant 3 to the start line before sprinting through the finish and wrapping up this triad for the ladies.
All day long, we've seen it. Communication and understanding of what your job is and what you need to do in this race is what's cost some teams this race. So I'm excited to see how they split up these stations, how the communication works, and if they've done enough off the grid, at home, in practice, to take this race. Again, cohesiveness is key here.
Cohesive has been the word today, I tell you. And we got Taylor Stallings, Lacey Boyd, and I did not get this newer player's name.
It's going to be Janine Nicole.
Their whole team always looking very cohesive, the Aces. I don't know if it's the glue in Taylor Stallings, you know, longtime grid player.
Strong glue holding together those ace females. Yep. And on the Brigade side, it's Oxenford, Chrisman, and Witter. 3 ladies that have worked together often over the last few years.
Yep, and one, Chrisman started to leave. She has 1 rep remaining in her station. Okay, now the Brigade. Wow, okay, so Durant, I think, knocked out the majority of the handstand push-ups while the other players went ahead and just laid themselves out, getting ready for the burpee box overs. Now they have 16 burpee box overs of that 24-inch box before heading over to the 9 dumbbell shoulder to overhead.
Yes, you saw similar here where Spock went straight over to the box, and it was Oxenford who did her handstand push-ups as well as Spock's.
Right, because some players are just more efficient and wasting the time of standing up, falling down, getting a fault possibly. No, not even worth it. Go wait by your box, let me knock out these handstand push-ups, and then we'll get chipping away at these burpees. Kresman over, okay. 2 reps were remaining now. Both teams heading to the shoulder to overhead. The Brigade currently substituting 2 players. Ace already have their players out on the ground, on the grid, so they are going to pull ahead here with these movements, and then it's going to come down to the handstand walk.
It's going to be Spock, Davenport, and Witter for the Brigade. Witter is done. She's going to pick up the slack for Davenport. Spock is done. She's going to run down that grid floor. Oh, she's going to stay for the handstand walks. As you have Durant, Medeiros, and Nicole for the Aces. Davenport, Oxenford, yep, and Witter for the Brigade. And the Brigade, the Ace ladies are already down there.
Yeah.
Durant is done.
0 substitutions
Nicole is
for
done.
the Aces. Yeah.
Medeiros is done. They're going to cross that finish line, and they're going to go back to a 2-point lead.
And it came down, like we said, to that handstand walk. The Aces had 0 substitutions. They were able to go the 60 feet. They strategized properly, and that's kind of what makes this race.
Yep. The females for the Aces come out on top. Females for the Brigade able to finish underneath that allotted time cap. So they're going to get that 1 point. Unofficially, we're going to have a 13-11 lead for the Aces going into the final 2 races. And it's the males' turn to shine here. And I think the Brigade men are going to have to come out. They're going to have to come out. They're going to have to find somewhere to
swinging,
dig down deep, yep, and get that race, get the match total back to 1 point. And really, it's winner take all when it comes to that sprint relay.
Yeah, and if it continues this back and forth, that may be just exactly what it is. We found that in last month in all the matches. almost every match came down to the sprint relay to decide the match. Now, this will be the first one of today of the 4 matches that might come to that point.
Fingers crossed. I think it will. You know, Taylor Stallings is getting that team together and really hoping to see some fight out of her men today. And some newcomers in Serrano and Hollings and DeMatti. I'm excited to see what they have to show coming up. As we got Cassie standing by, she's going to try and get a ace player to come over and speak with her and see how they're feeling today. We have plenty of time on the clock.
Yeah, and while she's doing that, we'll just quickly recap what's coming up next. We've got the male triad before that sprint relay we were talking about. All similar movements. Of course, the weights are going to get a little heavier, and those boxes are going to get a little taller.
Yeah, and who better? Cassie standing by with head coach, owner, player, Taylor Stallings. How is Taylor feeling right now, Cassie?
I'm here with Taylor Stallings of the Orlando Aces. Taylor, that was such an amazing female triad, probably one of the best I've seen today. I see that you have this kind of strategy in your head, you being like an OG player, for lack of a better word. Like, you know what you're doing, and do you find it hard to communicate that sometimes to your team, that you see all the little pieces and what you need them to do?
It's definitely been a blessing and a curse to be in the sport for so long, and I do see a lot of stuff. This sport is all about adapting. We have a game plan out there, but when you see things break down, you just have to know how to adapt in a moment. So while I'm out there, I'm able to communicate to the team, tell them when to move on and pick up, and luckily they hear my voice and they move accordingly. So I'm proud of them.
So that's something that you coach then, to just listen to your cue when they're on the grid for what you see, what they may not see?
I tell them to be prepared for anything, and just have their ears open, whether it's myself or whether it's Terry, but just have their ears open, because it's all about adapting in this sport. And this definitely went off of the game plan, but luckily I was there. I knew what to do. I saw one of my girls starting to get tired, fatigued. I knew she had the handstand waltz, and I knew I'll take care of the rest. So and they'll take care of the handstand waltz.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. That was very impressive. I wish you the best of luck on the rest of your match. Back to you guys at the table.
Thank you so much, Cassie. What a conversation with Taylor Stallings. I mean, she literally just finished the race, and she's still able to give a great interview with Cassie on the sidelines. And again, it's so great to see what she brings out of her team. She's smiling. You know, obviously it helps that you're leading right now going into the final 2 races, but it's a constant from the Orlando Aces, and it's so good to see them finally succeeding as a team. All the hard work she's put into this organization, and it's nice to see. But we still got a match to finish here, a tight one at that. 2-point lead for the Aces, and now it's the males' turn to take on the triad. Same elements, but what do the males have coming their way next?
Here's what we have for this triad. Same elements as we spoke about earlier. They're going to kick things off with 16 barbell clusters. Barbell's going to be 115 pounds. Moving into 3 freestanding handstand push-ups, 16 burpee over the box at a 30-inch box, 9 dumbbell shouldered overhead, 70-pound dumbbells in each of the hands for those gentlemen, and then finishing things off with a 60-foot handstand walk. Now, we saw it come down to the handstands for the ladies. The Aces were able to just pretty much do the whole 60 feet unbroken. No substitution whatsoever. What we saw with the Brigade is every 20 feet or so, you'd see a player come off onto their feet, jog or sprint off and try to substitute somebody in because they didn't think that they could complete it as a whole. Ultimately, that cost them precious time and the race. So we'll see if things can be a little different for the Brigade heading into this race.
And just like Taylor Stallings said, she saw the race didn't go as she planned, but she saw the opportunity for her to take on a little bit more work to enable her girls, who she knew could handle the handstand walks, to be well rested for it. So I'm interested to see how long the strength specialist for the Brigade can hold on, such as, you know, a Medina and a Cable and a Curry, and hang on tight for the likes of Dalton Herrero and Dylan Steedman, who are the bodyweight specialists and who can help them out on the handstand push-ups and the burpees over the box, and then ultimately, like you said, the handstand walk.
Yeah, and it's substituting at the right time so they can be there when it's their time to work. You know, so we'll see what happens here. It was a good strategy by the Aces before. Their players were out, the ones they needed when the time came for the handstand walk. Hopefully they can do that this time around, or the Brigade can copy what they saw. And those first three names you gave, I believe, are we got Medina, Cable, and I can't see the third player here. Herrero for the Brigade. They're going to start chipping away at those 16 clusters at 115 pounds.
On the Aces side, it's going to be Hollins. It's going to be Damati. And that last one from afar, it's going to be Serrano. You see you see Damati, you see Hollins not making that full extension, just going directly underneath, trying to cut as much time off as possible.
That was something we talked about in the last match. Just picking, or maybe Trisha Davis was doing it, I forget now, but some people pull that bar all the way up to their sternum before they get under it for that squat. If you can pull it up to your hip and get under it, you're going to save yourself all that extra time.
It may not be efficient for 1 rep, but for 16 reps, you're going to save a lot of time here.
10 seconds could mean the whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And now you have McNeil, Serrano, and Blatt on the freestanding handstand push-ups. Chaffee is through, Herrero is through, and Steedman is through. Completely forgot about Chaffee. I thought he was done for the match, but he's not. So you have 3 men capable of knocking out that handstand walk without stopping.
Yeah, and Chaffee knocked out a few of his burpee box overs in station number 1 before heading to the middle of the stations there, helping out one of his partners. And we've got the Brigade, that's Blatt.
Looks like Blatt, Serrano, and that's McNeil.
McNeil, that's it.
Hands are up for the Brigade, 2 of them. Hand is up over for McNeil and for Blatt. Hand is up in that 3rd station. It looks like it's Steedman.
And now we're seeing some of these substitutions start to happen.
You've got Hollins, McNeil over to the dumbbell shoulder to overhead. You've got Cable. It looks to be Herrero standing by. Steedman is done. I think Matt Cable might do a few reps for Herrero, and then Herrero will close it out. Here comes Aaron Medina.
Probably trying to save Herrero's shoulders for the handstand walk.
Damati's done, Hollins has done, McNeil's gonna start the handstand walk. It's gonna come down to Serrano and Blatt. I don't know if Herrero has anything left in the tank for these handstand walks. Cable is off and going, so is Medina.
Can these 3 gentlemen catch the other 2?
It's coming down to Serrano for the Aces.
Let's go split screen on the finish. There we go. And it looks like Serrano's going to beat out those 3 guys.
They got to sprint down to the finish line. Matt Cable drops. Matt Cable drops. 90 seconds remaining. The Orlando Aces are going to take this race, possibly putting the win out of reach for the Tampa Bay Brigade.
Yep, definitely going to break up that point differential a little wider. Once again, not the end of the world for the Brigade, because they still have the Northern Conference matchups coming on September 16th in Orlando for another opportunity to build up on that.
Absolutely.
Points.
Every point counts when it comes here on the grid floor, and they're going to have one more opportunity to get some more points. That's going to go into the sprint relay. It was a race win for the Orlando Aces. If you're excited about what you've been seeing all day long, or just in this very match between the Aces and the Brigade, you too can have a chance at being on one of these professional grid teams. Just check out this next message from the American Grid Trials.
If you thought about joining a grid team, this is for you. Grid League is a high-speed, high-adrenaline, exciting team sport that showcases a wide range of athletic types, from heavyweight strength specialists to light and speedy bodyweight specialists and everything in between, including well-rounded utility players.
can't explain the experience with my words because you have to be here to like really experience what it is.
Grid League is a true team sport in every sense. It brings back the feeling of team camaraderie in a new and powerful way. As never before have men and women been showcased together in a true large team sport like this. It's the team sport experience elevated in an incredible and powerful way. Showcase your hard work on the big stage, earn sponsorship deals, receive official Grid League gear and products, and battle it out with your team for that championship prize. Your chance to earn the right to sign to a Grid League team happens once a year in the American Grid Trials. This online combine features several tests focused on a wide range of skill sets, and each with a prize. Only perform the tests you feel best exhibit your abilities, and there is no overall score. For the first time ever, prospective players can reserve their spot in the American Grid Trials far in advance. At the lowest price it will be offered all year, just $16, you can sign up for the trials. Plus, receive a bonus package at sign up that includes 150 grid training workouts from all 3 positions, including progressions for high-skill grid lead movements. An e-book that explains the Grid League race rule basics you'll need to know. Access to our online training portal for our staff and referees to learn details about Grid League rules. An exclusive discount for prospective players to all remaining Grid League events in 2023. A Grid League sponsor coupon book worth hundreds in savings for the latest and best products in the fitness space. This is over $120 value for just $16. But more importantly, you'll be taking that first step to seeing your daily hard work shine on the grid and feeling the excitement of celebrating victory with your team. Don't wait, as the price will increase each month until the trials kick off in 2024. Take advantage of the best deal you can get right now and make the commitment to yourself. See you on the grid. Head to thefgl.com/play or the link in the caption below to get started.
I was actually starting to make videos towards the end of high school to try to go to college for gymnastics, and I ended up having shoulder surgery. I tore my labrum, and that was it for gymnastics. A friend got me into CrossFit, and then when I heard about Grid, the original one, I did everything I could to try to be part of the league. I use a lot of grips, and these are just my favorite pair that I've ever touched. With the way these are just sewn on and with that padding, it's a whole new dimension in terms of grips for CrossFit. And when you lock onto that bar like you're supposed to with these things, they just lock you in. These are probably the only grips I'll use.
My name is Lacey Boyd. I am a utility player for the Orlando Aces. I tore my ACL during one of the grid races called the Mirror. It was 10 hang power clean, but on the 8th or 9th rep, I felt like a pop in my knee, and I was like, well, that's not good. But I just kept going and didn't really think anything of it because I've never been injured before.
The video that she showed seemed like a very minor injury. However, she tore her ACL. She tore her meniscus. She had a displaced bucket handle tear, which is a serious issue. As a former CrossFitter and a former athlete and a sports-trained orthopedic surgeon, that's an important part of what I do as a sports medicine physician. Is I look at the athlete's-specific sport, the movements that are involved, and we tailor the rehab to get people back to their particular sport.
If you get injured, take the time your body needs to recover. Be very patient with yourself, both physically and emotionally. It's really like, you kind of feel like you're alone when it happens initially, because like none of your other friends or family are feeling the way that you do. You feel like not helpless, but in a sense you feel like you lost your independence at the time. But just listen to yourself, listen to your doctor, and it's just a minor setback to fling you forward. It's all gonna end up better than what you expected.
Welcoming you back to the action for not only the final race of the match, but the final race of the evening. 1 minute on the clock. These teams are ready to go. We're ready to go. Sprint relay, final race of the match, and out of reach for a win for the Brigade. Aces are going to come out here on top, undefeated, but now it all comes down to point differential, which will be big when we get into the final weekend of the Northern Conference. What can we expect in today's sprint relay?
All right, looking forward at this sprint relay. It is a relay race in which 4 male and 4 females must finish all 8 elements. Now, 8 movements, it's a mix of body weight and barbell. To finish a movement, the player must complete the last rep and then a 4-point touch at the start line before crossing to the finish. Other players can accumulate reps until that last rep if they want to substitute in. We'll talk more about these movements as we go. We are 5 seconds away from our last race of the day.
We are off as we have Ryan Damati opening up for the Orlando Aces, Matt Cable for the Brigade, and we're going to see that strategy. Who it finishes, the final repetition is done for the match. What can we have? What can we expect as far as elements coming up?
All right, so right now we're watching them chip away at 12 snatches at 165 pounds. From there, it'll be 2 L-sit rope climbs, 12 triple unders, 1 suicide run, which will be through each of the quadrants, 1 through 4. Single, then from there, 6 single dumbbell overhead squats at 40 pounds, 5 20-pound med balls over the 12-foot outrigger, which is a new movement this season, 6 freestanding handstand push-ups, and then wrapping things up with 3 clusters at 250 pounds.
We got Chris Chaffee as well as David Blatt on the L-sit rope climbs. We saw him earlier. Blatt is through his 2 repetitions. He'll be done for the remainder of this race. And it's going to be Darren Lasso coming out for the triple unders as Chaffee tries to get up there. Can't quite use his legs there.
So he will catch a fault there because his feet touch the rope. And again, you cannot touch the rope. You must touch the top of the outrigger. So currently the Aces, although they were already had a win for this whole match, they might be taking this race. They are on the suicide runs as, there we go, the Brigade are able to, Oxenford finishes her final L-sit rope climb. 4 points a touch. We're watching her sprint across the grid.
Showing from Oxenford to come in there and get that last one in as Dalton Herrero will get the triple unders, while Janine Nicole and the Aces are sprinting down there, done with the suicide sprint. Here comes Lacey Boyd. You just saw her recovering from an Achilles tendon tear. She is back on the grid floor, knocking out those single arm dumbbell overhead squats in quad number 2, and she's done.
All right, and the Aces now completely done. The Brigade are just trying to take care of these triple unders. There was only 1 left. So they did a substitution. Now we're watching McNeil. McNeil with these wall balls over at the 12-foot outrigger. So a little bit different. Normally a 10-foot target, now a 12-foot post that they must go completely over and then catch it on the other side to do it again.
And with that, you got to factor in, like, you have to try and get it over because it still counts if you touch the outrigger.
Yeah, you can hit the top, but if it falls
it's
back,
gonna bounce. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Then they'd catch a fault for that movement as well.
Lindsay Spock with the sprint. She's done.
And that's Janet Durant for the Aces. They just finished her freestanding handstand push-ups. And actually, Chaffee now out there with his freestanding handstand push-ups. Oh, and we know, okay, so there is a fault. The Brigade are just completely all over the place. We're now looking at the Aces, watching them finish up their clusters. And what happened with the Brigade, well, we'll go ahead. Let's look over at the Aces as they come across the finish line, celebrating.
Alex Hollings started off the day on partner forward. He's going to bring it home for Taylor Stallings and the Aces. The Aces will remain undefeated and go to 2-0 in the Northern Conference. And they're right up there with the Southwest Florida Sharks. Again, it was a back-and-forth battle. Ultimately, some mental errors on the Brigade side, an unfortunate injury, and the Aces come out on top. But we're still out here. We got 1 minute on the clock. We want to see what the Brigade can get done. Try to get that 1 point.
Get that 1 point. I mean, they're now back on the med ball over the outrigger because they didn't do the dumbbell overhead squat.
2 elements remaining. You're going to have the freestanding handstand push-up, followed by the clusters.
And Chaffee has already been out here. He did 4 of them, which did not count, and then they had to come back to the med ball. So tons of confusion, not really sure what's going on for them with this workout. But watching the Orlando Aces also cheer them on. showing that this is not just about the teams being on separate sides, but this is a community. This might be their match, but they're here to watch and help this team push them across that finish line.
Aaron Medina flying through, 10 seconds on the clock. I don't know if it'll be enough for the sprint, but he is absolutely pouring his
Not
heart
unless he's
out
the Flash.
on the grid floor. That's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. So with a final score of Aces 19, Brigade 12, your unofficial results, the Orlando Aces will take this match win.